Greetings. It has been a while, has it not? Welcome back to the Grindhouse. Tonight, I thought we'd look at a very special movie. One that I actually, sort of, interestingly enough, kind of grew up with. 1989's movie, Wes Craven's, Wes Craven's, I don't know what you call this, I guess, I'd say semi-buried. They tried to make this guy as popular as Freddy Krueger, and that didn't work out. But it's 1989's Shocker. Let's see. Peter Berg, who went on to direct a few movies, he plays Jonathan, who is a high school football player who was also a foster child. And it turned out that his father, his adopted father, is the police chief, but his real father was Horace Pinker. Horace Pinker is a serial killer. So, basically, he also runs a TV repair shop. That's basically his cover, where he basically walks into people's houses and kills like whole families. Now, fast forward to basically the town is in the grip of fear because this guy is breaking into houses and just killing people, whole families at random and whatnot. And the cops can't seem to, of course, catch him. Meanwhile, Jonathan has this dream where he actually sees the murders of his sister, his brother, and his stepmom, or foster sister, brother, and foster mom, of course. So he basically leads the cops, his adopted father, the police detective. He basically leads him to where Horace Pinker basically hides out, where he works, and so from there on, it's basically the cops trying to catch the criminal, and there are some good scenes. Mitch Pileggi, who was in Sons of Anarchy, he played Darby. He plays Horace Pinker, and this had to have been probably, I'm guessing, his first movie. In terms of the movie, it's basically 80s schlock horror. Some gore, not super amount, but you know. Basically what happens is they finally catch him. He goes to the electric chair. He gets electrocuted. And of course, you know where this is going to go. He's going to basically, spoiler alerts here, he's basically going to hop from body to body, possessing many people. And for those of you that keep up on other movies, Richard Brooks is in this. He played in The Crow City of Angels. He was the villain in that one. In this one, he's like the sidekick to Peter Berg's character Jonathan, and of course Kami Cooper, who is his girlfriend. She ends up dying at the hands of Pinker, of course. She also appears as a ghost and helps him try to basically capture Horace. Meanwhile, you've got all these bodies are piling up. You've got a lot of people that are getting possessed. One of them was going to be Ted Raimi. Ted Raimi gets a part as he's like the assistant to the football coach, and he's known as Pac-Man. And he basically, I don't know if this was, I assume this was probably after directing Evil Dead, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look on the years for that one. But yeah, Ted Raimi's in it. Actually, wait a minute. Nah, I take that back. Sam Raimi, I think, directed Evil Dead, didn't he? I think Ted might be the brother. In any event, the movie itself has some slapstick to it, I gotta say. I kind of, there was a scene where they basically go from channel to channel. John Tesh also plays a reporter, so, you know, Well, that's kind of typecasting, I suppose. But yeah, so you've got them basically going from channel to channel, fighting it out, and it's kind of for a Wes Craven movie. It's definitely kind of a little more schlocky than say his other movies, not including like say Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, where Freddy was kind of doing one-liners. This one not as much, but there's a lot more. I'd say physical comedy in some aspects. Timothy Leary plays a televangelist, which is pretty funny in one scene. Kane Roberts, who was the guitarist for Alice Cooper, who's also actually a decent singer too, he plays a construction worker that gets possessed by Pinker at one point. So you're going to see him in there if you look close enough, and if you're a fan of Alice Cooper, you'd recognize him. But let's see, what else? Aside from that, it's basically a good way to waste, say, an hour and a half. But it's a supernatural horror movie, but is it really like, yeah, I'd say this would have been a good 80s Grindhouse movie in terms of going to like New York City. You could have seen this with like, say, a double feature of, I don't know, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, one of those movies. It would have been apropos, basically. The movie itself is pretty, I'd say it's probably one of my more favorite ones of Wes Craven, but it's not as dark as, say, like The Hills Have Eyes or Last House on the Left. This was Wes Craven when he was, a few shades away from doing Vampire in Brooklyn. So, not to say that was a bad thing. It's not. But is it like as grim as, say, Last House or Hills Have Eyes? No. This is Wes Craven doing comedy, action, some horror, kind of a mixed bag of everything. The soundtrack's very good. The soundtrack is pretty much 80s, a lot of 80s hair metal, but some of it's not to the point where it's not to the point where the music is really that bad. It's actually pretty good. It's actually one of the, better soundtracks for a movie. There are very few soundtracks, in my opinion, that are very good in terms of matching up as good as the movie. I don't know. That could be just my preference. I'm thinking more along the lines of, say, let's see. I'd say my top three would be Shocker, Judgment Night, and if we want to go really new school, I would say maybe Repo the Genetic Opera. That's actually a pretty memorable thing too. But in any event, this has been the Grindhouse. I will try to be actually making a few more reviews in terms of trying to keep this more a steady thing. So I'm hoping to do this possibly next Monday, if at all possible. I don't know what film I'll be choosing next, but it'll probably be somewhere in the vein of, hopefully, The Bazaar. Until next time, fare thee well.